Friends, how are you doing? I know it has been a rough day for us. It's been Good Friday. The stock market's been closed, and it's not fun when the stock market's closed. Let me tell you, it is a rough day. But let's talk about what we can expect next week. And I do believe, I'm not trying to spread gossip rumors out there, but I do believe we could be going into a little teeny bit of a bull market here. And here's why I have that theory. So obviously, I'll explain that. Friends, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Listen to me yap my gums here. I want to talk about Sofi mostly, talk about, NU a little bit here. But one reason why I think we could be going into a little bit of a bull cycle here, and I don't know how big it's going to be. It may not be much, who knows, but the market's already doing well here. I mean, the market's doing better than people expected, okay? Because essentially bullet points, what's going on here. The market is in this fugazi, this fairy tale story, this unrealistic situation right now where everyone's just going, okay, the tariff thing, it's held back until July. Okay, we're not even paying attention to that, even though the China situation can just pop off any day. So the market's going, okay, whatever, we're just going to keep pushing, and we're going into quarterly season. Like next week, essentially, we're starting to have some things start happening here by the end of the last week here in the month of April, and then going into May. I mean, we're having like boom, quarterly. So with that, some of these companies, they have not been affected by tariffs. They have not been affected about what's been going on. So they could really do well here. And Sofi is one of those companies. So obviously, one of the big things right now, why I have this picture with Trump and Jerome Powell here, it's no secret that Jerome Powell, and I kind of like this about Jerome Powell, and I think Jerome Powell is almost, I like that he's biased. I like that he doesn't give in to Trump, and I don't mean that against Trump whatsoever, but the thing is that Jerome Powell obviously is saying, I don't want to do rate cuts yet. I don't want to do rate cuts. He's being very, very delicate about how he handles the situation with inflation, with what these tariffs are going to look like 2 months from now, 6 months from now. He doesn't want to pull the trigger on it. He wants to save, at least the first rate cut in case we have to in case it's like a get out of jail free card. We have to use it. He wants to use it organically, where we go like, okay, things are moving along, we can do this now, we can handle this. Trump has been saying before he even won the election, he wants rate cuts. So now, it's April, and he's like, I want rate cuts. I want a rate cut. He says, we're fine. Trump's saying, we're fine. We can do this. And Jerome is saying, no. So now Trump is saying, I could fire Jerome. I might. We're talking. I'm not happy with him. So it's no secret. I mean, these two have always went back and forth. I mean, this has been going on. Trump is the one that put Jerome here, and Jerome went through, a whole Biden administration. And that's Jerome's job. He is supposed to play devil's advocate with the president. He's not supposed to show favoritism, and he certainly is not. So obviously, if we had a rate cut, if they announced that tomorrow, the market would go bananas off of it. It would go crazy, and especially bank stocks. Sofi would go freaking nuts. It could do more harm too if it's not the right time. So I get both of these guys' reasoning about what they're saying. I get it, but there's nothing I can do about it. I just, as an investor, have to go along with it and go, we'll see what happens here. So it is an interesting situation that's going on there, okay? All right, Sofi. Okay, there is high probability at this point that Sofi could really take off here. Now, Sofi, yesterday, Thursday, closing out the market, it ran great. It ran fantastic. It closed out the week, even, like on Robinhood, it closed out like, at $11.06. It did really well. This week, what I'm thinking, the market could start off slow, and then getting later into next week, the market could do better, okay? Because the further we get into the end of the month here, we could see, some great quarterlies come out with a lot of companies. Now, obviously, staying on track here with Sofi, this could be, and you've heard me say this, like, God, I know you guys are sick of hearing me say this. This could be the quarterly that Sofi breaks for $1 billion. This could be it. This could be the mama jama, bam, wham, big one, okay? Now, why do I say that? I say that because SoFi has been killing it since October, November, when we've seen these big loan deals come into play. The credit card deal they had back in October, somewhere in the little fuzzy. But then from then on, SoFi's kind of had something big happen here every 45 to 55 days. We've seen some news break here with them, some great things. So this quarterly could be already taking what it had plus compounding what the new stuff is, and this could be the $1 billion quarterly that SoFi has been building up to here for a few years now, where we've been going. This company, we were saying this 2 years ago, if this company keeps going at this rate, they're going to be over a $1 billion quarterly here before we know it. And here we are. April of 2025, this may be it right here. Now, does this mean that SoFi is going to go to like 30, 40, 50 bucks? No, we're not saying that. Now, unless they came out with like, unless they came out with like a quarterly that was like 2.5 billion, I don't see that happening. But, I would like them to at least hit $1 billion. If they flushed over $1 billion, that would be great. But could SoFi run pre-quarterly and post-quarterly to $15 to $17? Sure. Yeah, we've seen it did that last time. And we only hit, we didn't even hit $1 billion in quarterlies last time. It was a great quarterly. It was the best quarterly they've had. But this one could be the biggest. Okay, this could be the biggest. And there's a lot of evidence to show that it could be. So I really want to encourage people, and myself, and this is what I've been talking about. The market's not going to get away from you, because either way, this market is going to bring moments of high growth and a downfall, and then building back up. Okay, because we're still on glass floors here, and they could crack and break through at any moment. Okay. But SoFi here, it is going to be a very, very volatile stock here, probably in this week here, probably all month here, the rest of the month. So we could see SoFi start off a little slow here this week, and I'm counting on it. But it's very important to make your stake somewhere in this. If you're playing this, I'm only talking to people that are investing in SoFi. So obviously, make your stake here, because SoFi could start to get a little out of control here, getting closer to quarterlies. Because people that have been following the news with SoFi here, they're not naive to what SoFi could be doing here. This isn't a situation, it's like, I don't think a lot of people here that have been watching SoFi are going, well, it might be. I think we're all going, this should be the one. If there was a quarterly that could be over $1 billion, or at least touching it with a feather, this is the one. So we could just see SoFi do phenomenal numbers. Okay, phenomenal numbers. And when SoFi hits big numbers here, stock price, people are going to take profit. People are going to sit. People are going to do what they want to do. But what it could do here is offer and show a new landing spot for SoFi. So when we saw SoFi fall to, this $9 range here just a few weeks ago, when the market started to fall apart with tariffs, maybe the new low for SoFi could be around $11 to $12. Now that's a pretty good jump there, okay? But we could see a new high in SoFi, with the market showing support here. I think SoFi could easily move to $15 to $17 easily. Okay, it really does depend on what these quarterlies are going to offer. How big are they going to be? They could be spectacular. It's really going to be interesting to see this. This is kind of like a mini Super Bowl for stock investors that have been, if you're obsessed with this stuff. So, friends. Essentially what I'm saying is, a lot of you, I know, we've been buying, selling high, buying low, selling high, compounding positions in a lot of stocks, SoFi especially. A lot of you have been telling me, or maybe a lot of you have just been buying SoFi and storing away like a squirrel does nuts, and you're about to be rewarded probably, okay? So with that happening, from here on out, what happens after May, going into June, I don't know. That no one knows what's going to happen again. We could see the market fall apart here in July once again with tariffs coming back up, okay? And we still have not made a deal here with China. So, that is still out there lingering. That is the big knife that is out there just lingering right now for the market. But nonetheless, I'm very excited, and I think we are going to be very shocked what SoFi is doing here. Listen, long term, SoFi is going to be a very, as what we know right now, evidence wise. Okay, SoFi is going to be a great long term stock. Okay, if you can build up a nice position in it, the future is very open to what SoFi is holding. We could be talking about dividends. We could be talking about somewhere in the future a stock split. Okay, now obviously it's going to take a relationship, it's going to take time, and it's going to take patience to get there with SoFi, 100%. But if we can really see SoFi become even more popular than what it did last year, this year, and really maybe SoFi is getting into a position where it's going to start, every quarterly it's going to be, a 30, 35, 40% on top of what they did their last quarterly. Okay. That's how stocks really start to run. Okay. That's how stocks really get out of control price rise, because it's the expectation of what is coming. So don't be shocked to see SoFi could take off this year. I would not be shocked about it whatsoever. So NU Holdings is another company that I've been talking about, producing great quarterlies, just amazing earnings. I mean, this company has well been into the $1 billion range. The last few quarterlies have been $3 billion, last two, $3 billion, but, well into some heavy earnings here. And it's still a very affordable stock, It's not as popular. It's not as big as SoFi. It's a little different taste of what it brings to the table here. But if you're looking for long-term positions for companies that are affordable, still have a lot of meat left on the bone and growth, I mean, look at this quarterly chart here. I mean, it's amazing. So it's definitely something that I would keep paying attention to. They have quarterlies coming up later in May 13th, and obviously we'll be following that heavily. I've talked about this stock every now and then, but it's just not a very popular stock. And I hate that, because it's producing, and there's so many companies like this that I would love to talk about, but nobody wants to hear about them, and that sucks, because I think NU Holdings is fantastic, but it's just like, if I made a video about NU Holdings, no one would care. They go, what is this? SoFi, people go, yeah, that's great. It's just the way it is. It's just hard to explain why this cookie sells and this cookie doesn't sell. It's just a situation. It's just what it is. So I do think these are both great stocks. And, Robinhood itself will be releasing quarterlies here again, and we're going to see if Robinhood can produce another $1 billion quarterly. It's going to be very interesting. Robinhood is going to be a top dog into the future, but I do think SoFi is going to be doing better than Robinhood here, as far as we can tell right now, because they've pushed the banking system of what they are so more intensely the past few years. So friends, I'm excited. Be excited. We've got a good week coming up here. It's going to be very interesting. We're getting so close to earnings, and I don't know what Trump's going to do here. Trump is such a wild card. He could get rid of Jerome. And I don't know what that would do. If he got rid of Jerome Powell, you can bet 100% we're going to have rate cuts, because he's going to put someone in there who's going to do rate cuts. That would be the only reason he would get rid of Jerome Powell, to put someone in there that would do a rate cut immediately, which would shoot up the market aggressively in the short term. Friends, take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.